This video is for the inequality notes. So for inequalities, when you graph them, you use an open circle for greater than or less than signs, and you use a closed circle for greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. So if I was going to graph x is less than 3, I would use an open circle. And if x is less than 3, it would be all the numbers less than 3, so that the direction of the arrow would be to the left. So if I was going to do x is less than or equal to -6, I would do a closed circle on -6. And again, it's less than the -6, so the arrow would be to the left. So rules for solving inequalities. You must flip the inequality symbol when you multiply or divide by a negative number. So we're going to solve these the same way we solve equations. So we're going to do PEMDAS backwards. So this cancels. My inequality just drops down. -4 minus 2 would give me a -6. And then we're going to divide both sides by 3. And I would have x is less than -2. So if I do 0, -1, -2, -4, so open circle, and then it's less than. All right, on this one, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides first. So I would have x over 6. This cancels. A -1 minus 2 would give me a -3. To get rid of the 6 on bottom, we would multiply both sides by 6. So this would cancel, and x would be greater than -18. So I could do -19, -18, -17. And so again, I would use an open circle. And this time x is greater than, so my arrow would go to the right. Okay, so on the back here, same process. We're going to subtract an 8 from both sides. Drop the inequality sign down, and then minus 8 would give me a -7. Now here, I'm going to divide by a -7. So if I divide by a -7, this sign flips direction. So -7 divided by -7 is a 1. So it would be a closed circle, and x is greater than, so it would go this direction. All right, on this one, we're going to add 5 to both sides. This cancels, so -2 plus 5 gives me a 3. Here, I'm going to multiply by a -8. So remember, if we multiply or divide by a negative, the sign has to flip. So x is going to be greater than -24. So -25. So open circle, and x is greater than, so it's going to go this direction to the right. All right, on this next one, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So 1 minus 3 gives me a -2. You're going to multiply both sides by 7. So I get a -14. So close circle, and x is greater than, so it's going to go to the right. All right, this time we're going to add 5 to both sides. So 19 plus 5 is 24. Then we're going to divide by a -2. So if we divide by a negative, the sign has to flip. And so 24 divided by -2 is a -12. So close circle, X is greater than, so the arrow is going to point to the right. All right, for 15, we're going to add 3 to both sides. 31 plus 3 is 34. And then we're going to divide both sides by a negative 4. So again, we divided by a negative, so the sign has to flip, and we would get a negative 8.5. So here I'd probably do negative 9, negative 8.5, negative 8, negative 7.5, and negative 7. So open circle, X is greater than, so my arrow is going to go to the right. All right, in 16, we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So 11 minus 5 is 6. And then remember, to get rid of a fraction, we just multiply by the reciprocal. So this cancels. And then 6 times 4/3 gives me an 8. So open circle. And then X is greater than, so it's going to go to the right. Okay, did flip the sign there. All right, 17. We're going to add 1 to both sides. This cancels. And then multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal is negative. So this cancels, but the sign still flips. So 15 times negative 6 divided by 5 gives me a negative 18. So close circle on 18. And then X is less than. All right, on 18, we're going to add 2 to both sides. So negative 7 plus 2 is a negative 5. And then we're going to divide both sides by 5. So it doesn't matter that your answer is negative. It's if you're multiplying or dividing by a negative. So close circle. X is less than, so it's going to go to the left. All right, here we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. So 14 minus 6 is 8. And then to get rid of this negative sign, I have to divide by a negative 1. So the sign is still going to flip because we divided by a negative. So close circle, and X is greater than. All right, last one. We're going to subtract 4 from both sides. So 11 minus 4 is a 7. And then we're going to multiply by this reciprocal, which is just a negative 3. So this cancels, but it's negative. So the sign has to flip. So here, so open circle, and then X is less than. So the arrow goes to the left. So that's it for this video.